Hey guys, welcome to this new video. Today it's a very important subject and I'm gonna give you 3 things you must know before doing business in Vietnam. So I'm talking more to people who are investors who maybe have already a business overseas, or people who see the opportunity coming here just because of the growing population, the demographics. They would maybe wanna import the product to Vietnam, or just people who have this investment mindset. And I see here that there is some talent and I could use the workforce here to maybe build offshore IT development companies, or just use the manufacturing hubs that are in Vietnam to maybe manufacturing here to export products overseas. So again, this video I will try to get to different scope and different business sectors so we have a better understanding about what's the real situation here and the 3 things that you must know before coming to Vietnam to do business. So the first thing you absolutely have to know before coming to Vietnam to do business is that here in Vietnam, things change very fast. Things change very fast for an individual aspect, so as an individual, as a foreigner living in Vietnam, but also for the corporate aspect and the business. Let me give you a little bit of context about this. 4 years ago, 5 years ago, when I just arrived here, we could have, as foreigners, we could have 6 months visa as a French person. For US people, it was 1 year visa. And then now we are in a situation that it's either 1 month visa, it's maybe 3 months visa, we don't know. And then of course people who are working here, who are investors here, we could still get a long-term visa. But still things change very fast also in this aspect. Last year, if you create a company in Vietnam, if you invest $5,000, we could get 2 years TRC. So the TRC is the temporary residency card. So as a foreign investor, you create a company here. It can be an LLC, right? A normal kind of company. You own 100% of the share. And you could be eligible to a 2 year TRC. So you can just do the setup, pay the lawyer to incorporate your company, and then you get your long-term visa. Super good. But now, so it's because of COVID, but it's also with a lot of regulation that the government put to also regulate all the different visas allow for foreigners. Things are getting more strict. On the investor perspective, for instance, now you need to invest more to get long-term visa. So because things may change in the future, I will just give you general ideas, but now if you invest $10,000 to $20,000, you can get a 1 year visa. So maybe in the future they will still re-implement the 2 years TRC. We don't know how things gonna be. But the only thing I want you to get from this main point is that in terms of individual aspects, even if you invest here, your visa length may change. And it fluctuates. So again, before it was long, now it's short, but it's also because it's COVID. So after they may have to go back to something a little bit more normal for investors. So usually the thing you have to know is that in Hanoi it's more complicated. In Da Nang it was easy and now it starts to be more complicated. And in Ho Chi Minh City it's still easy. So if you don't necessarily know which cities you want to target first to come to Vietnam, usually on the common idea, incorporating a company in Ho Chi Minh City will be better. But again, you have to make your own due diligence, you have to benchmark and you compare all the information. Some of the numbers in this video may be wrong in the future, so check what will be the update situation when you're going to watch this video. And the other side is regarding to company setup as well. I was just mentioning that depending on the amount of capital you are investing into a company, you can get more or less advantages as a foreigner. This is there and it may be there in the future. So this is more the downside I'm showing you, but there is also good incentive that government is implementing. For instance, very recently, if you choose to incorporate a company into industrial, the manufacturing and some software development business sectors, then you can get incentive for the corporate income tax. So for the first 10 or 15 years, you will have incentive on the corporate income tax and your corporate income tax will be reduced. So this is very good incentive for foreigners as well. So if you have those kind of opportunities in the future, and if you see that the business sector that you are targeting, you can also jump and incorporate a company in the appropriate business sector, you absolutely will need to work with the lawyer, and we're going to talk about the lawyers and the partners in general in the next item in this video. So you will need to work with trustworthy people here that are going to do things properly and going to make you fit and enter in those boxes so you can get those kinds of incentive. So to wrap up the idea, number one point, things change very fast on the individual and on the corporate perspective. Now the second thing also you have to be aware, and you absolutely must know before coming to Vietnam to do business, is that here you need to have strong partners around you. So it can be partners, I'm thinking more about, for instance, lawyer, accountants, or even a real estate agent if you want to come here to invest into real estate, but also partners to do business, right? So for the first kind of partners, here you may have everything. You may have everything in terms of services, everything in terms of price, everything in terms of how people are really doing their due diligence to check and tell you certain information. So the best thing you have to do is to meet different kind of people and also connect directly with some entrepreneur. If you can directly ping someone who is here, who is living in Vietnam, who did business, and who is maybe directly into the same industry that you are targeting, of course, that person will give you maybe a clearer understanding of what is written in the law, but also how companies are operating and being maintained and really doing things on a day-to-day basis. And there is two different worlds. There is the world of what you find online on the text and on the, the law and everything that is new and the new directives that are implemented by the law. But you have also what is commonly implemented and how lawyers and how those people, those accountants are directly dealing with the authorities. And there is, again, two worlds. So according to these two different perspectives and how people do things, you have to make your own due diligence, and you have also to get the appropriate information. What is, again, written and what is, again, commonly done by investors and business owners here. So go meet different people. You can benchmark the different services. Some lawyers will, welcome you in their very nice office in this District 1. They may serve you some tea. They may really welcome you. They will have their nice tie. I went to some offices like that. But sometimes when you will see the end proposal that they're going to provide you, it may be very pricey. And then when finally you realize that what they are providing is either they make you a complicated structure and incorporating process, or they just find a way for you to make you fit in a box that is not necessarily what you want, then you need to double check those information. And then you can also go to the other extreme and directly work with some local lawyers, right? When I came here, I did all. I went to the extreme of going to very fancy law firms up until going to a very local lawyer that I needed a translator at that time to understand. So you can also go to different lawyers, benchmark the different options, and then also, as I say, you can directly ping foreigners who are living here, and they may help you to take shortcuts and really to tell you again what is the difference between what is written in the law and what people are commonly do. And sometimes between what is written in the law, some lawyers may want to sell you that stuff, and then other lawyers that are commonly, no, in best practice we do this, commonly we operate like this way, so don't need to go to this complicated solution. Let's just take the simplest way to do it, and finally on a day-to-day basis after, it's going to be easier to maintain and to operate. So again, check those two things, meet different people, benchmark the options, and then you can figure it out. How can you really have and build a strong partnership team around you? Now, on the second angle of partnership, you have also to consider the partners that will help you on the business. In Vietnam, relationships are very important. So when you come here as a foreigner, sometimes it may be difficult to see that, but here relationships are first when you do business. So you can obviously still manage to perform and to operate and to do good business if you are a foreigner. If you, for instance, open a 100% foreign-owned company, so you'll be the main man inside your company, you can really have 100% control on your company. But sometimes it may be also interesting to find partners first that can help you on the business angle. Why? Because, for instance, I have some friends, they work in with bank, and they are selling software to bank. Of course, if they choose actually to involve someone who is well connected to banks as shareholder of the company, immediately it will help them, maybe it will help them to save 6 months to 1 year of meeting banks, doing some proposal, pitching them the idea, developing the software, and really being able to sell the product to banks. When they have someone that is inside their own company who can directly connect them to the key decision maker of the company, immediately things will be smoother. I don't know the kind of sectors you want to operate in Vietnam. You may also want to find partners who may already have experience and who may be a good fit as a business partner. Again, do your own due diligence, spend time with those people, don't only get the first random dude on the phone and then sign a partnership with him, right? Just allow yourself to take some time. I usually advise clients, friends, anyone asking me how long I should spend in Vietnam before doing business. I would say minimum 6 months to 1 year. For me, this is the minimum, and I also created my own company after spending time here and after seeing that Vietnam was a place where I really wanted to do business, and when I started at that time to understand some codes and how people are working with. So again, you have different worlds, and because you come with your foreign mindset, coming to an emerging country to do business, here you have to rely on some locals that can help you a lot to really operate and to really scale your business, right? The idea is not to have the very nice company, very nice setup, and everything is super clean, and you have a 6, 7, 8K package made by a very nice law firm. And finally, when it's time to operate, you see that you are stuck, and you see that, they put you in a very specific license, and then it's going to be very hard to move a little bit and to switch a little bit what you want to do in your company, because maybe he put you in the wrong business sector. Rather that if you are, for instance, having a consulting company, you have some business sectors that are more open, then maybe you can start to operate and you can start to invoice your first customer, find partners. Maybe you won't get the exact license, but you will always find ways to do things in Vietnam. Let's say you want to work with manufacturers and export goods from Vietnam. Don't open your own factory. First, open maybe a consulting company. It can help you to get a proper situation here. Start to operate, have a long-term visa, hire staff here, and when it's time to really manufacture, then you can have a contractor contract with those manufacturers, and they can maybe manufacture for you. So you don't need to have the manufacturing license. I had a customer recently, she wanted to open a bakery to bake, and then we advised her just to start with a simple setup, and of course, check her business model. Did she find the product market fit? Is she really able to operate and to sell? And of course, she won't really get all the license, right? But she can still at least start to operate. And after, when she really see that it's working, see that she can find people to distribute her products, then at that time she can grant herself and pay extra fees to get maybe the manufacturing license, right? And then at that time she can really scale and grow her business. But do it like step by step. This is always something I would advise people to do. And then don't always go and work with the big firm, because they will always indirectly show you the big picture. For instance, for that recent customer, I think she benchmarked the option, but with other lawyers it was 10 to 15, 20K, and with our setup it was less than 5K, So she could immediately see, wow, working with Guillaume, she can save a lot of money. And then she has something that is more maintenance friendly and that she could really upgrade and improve while her company is growing. But it's not you have a very big and complicating solution, and then after you are running out of cash and you cannot even operate, hire staff, or do marketing, right? So to summarize this third point, having a local partner who is Vietnamese, who understands the market and who maybe be a good fit entering your game and entering your project to really help you to get started would be an interesting thing to consider. I know some foreigners are not into this idea, but again, you need to benchmark, you need to check different ideas. Of course, nowadays, because of the current situation, if you want to enter Vietnam, it's better to be investor, but if you see on a day-to-day basis how company works and how accountants we deal with the authorities, you have also the local companies that are easier to maintain. And as a foreigner, for instance, you can be the director, right? Or you can be an employee from that exact company. So there are risks, of course. You won't have 100% control over the company, but you need to benchmark different options. You need to check and ask with people who are really on the ground, operating, did business already, and could really suggest you the best option according to your own situation. Depending again if you're alone, depending if you plan to get married here, depending if you have a long plan into living in Vietnam or just want to operate from overseas and have a local structure here just to carry some of your costs, you may have different structuration and incorporation processes that will be implemented for your own business. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it gives you 3 things that you have to know before doing business in Vietnam. So let's recap. Number 1, things are changing very fast on the visa, on the individual, on the restriction for companies, and also the new incentive for foreign investors to come to Vietnam. So stay updated about this. Number 2, have a strong partnership team around you. It can be contractors, it can be, for instance, lawyers, accountants working with you and helping you through your journey of doing business in Vietnam. And finally, also rely on local people or individuals who are here, who are already operating on the ground and that can maybe good business partner who you will work with. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Leave me a comment below and tell me what was the reasons that you check this video. Are you willing to come to do business in Vietnam? Do you also maybe find other struggles and things that was not easy to deal with when you operate and when you did business in Vietnam? Let me know everything in the comments so we can discuss together about this. Leave me a thumbs up if you are still here on the video right now, and I see you in the next one. Thank you. Bye-bye.
And I'ma get it right, get on sight like